I went from accountant to fighter pilot.
What was it like to fly the F-18?
It's a rocket ship. When you select afterburner, every bone and fiber in your body knows that you have.
Let's get right into the Blue Angels.
They don't really tell you what the rules are, so every time you break one, it costs you $5.
At the end of the day, you a better pilot?
Honestly, I've never been asked this question before.
Get to Maverick, would you?
Did we really just go under a helicopter in a canyon that was at 70 feet?
Tom fly his own stuff?
You either meet him there,
Yeah.
or he'll find someone that will.
What advice do you have?
Ask to pursue your dream.
Hi, I'm Rick Crandall, host of the Behind the Wings podcast. In this episode, we are really excited to be speaking with retired Navy fighter pilot Scott Kartvedt. Scott discusses flying the F-18, the ins and outs of the Blue Angels, and dogfighting with a helicopter? Yeah, as a stunt pilot in Top Gun Maverick. It's time to go Behind the Wings. Scott Kartvedt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it. Great to be here. Quick introduction for me. I got bit by the aviation bug watching Top Gun in 1986. Came out my senior year in high school, and my best friend and I told all of our friends, we're going to do that. And we were fortunate enough to go do that. And I applied to the Navy, Aviation Officer Candidate School, was fortunate to select jets, retired after 22 years, stayed engaged in aviation, and got into the film industry after that.
Yeah, you were at Pepperdine, right?
I was.
So what happens if ROTC or whatever, what if that doesn't happen?
I wasn't an ROTC guy. No, I was an accounting major. So I went from accountant to fighter pilot. And I get asked that a lot when I give presentations. They'll say, how did you do that? I always say that I was more situated to be a fighter pilot, I think, than I was
I mean,
an
a lot of
accountant.
people don't go that route, right?
Yeah, I can still geek out on Excel, for sure.
We'll get into your extensive career, but tell us for the audience, what really excited you about flying? I mean, what really got the bug in you?
I think it was really the adrenaline more than anything. When you see the original Top Gun and the steam and the catapults and the airplanes moving around and the music, it gets the blood going a little bit. So my whole life is really just seeking that adrenaline rush.
Initially, you mentioned the movie, but was there a time before that? You ever look up and see a plane and go, wow?
Well, I grew up riding motorcycles out in the desert of Southern California, right underneath the Blue Angel winter training facility. So I can remember camping with my parents and my brother and sister, and the Blue Angel at the time, A4s would fly over, and I can remember going, wow. And then fast forward 15, 20 years, and I was the one going over those same campsites and campgrounds. And it wasn't lost on me that I was that young person looking up and thinking, wow, who gets to do that? And so I got accepted to be a pilot. I knew I wanted to be a pilot. I knew I wanted to drive airplanes. So I went to the Santa Monica airport, put down my $35 for an introduction to aviation flight.
Yeah.
And I remember telling the instructor at the time, hey, here's your $35. I'm going to Aviation Officer Candidate School to be a pilot in the Navy, and I've never been in an airplane. Will you take me up? And he was kind of looked at me sideways.
Explain to our audience, what was it like to fly the F-18?
So F-18, it's a rocket ship, 40,000 pounds of thrust. When you select afterburner, every bone and fiber in your body knows that you have. It is the ultimate in high performance. The only people that I would say have experienced something more impressive from high performance are probably those astronauts that have ridden a rocket ship, literally.
Let's get right into the Blue Angels.
I went through primary flight training. I knew I wanted to fly jets. I was fortunate to select jets. And then I knew at the time we had S-3s, Tomcats, Prowlers, and F-18s. And I wanted to fly a fighter, so I had listed F-18s first, and I was able to select F-18s. And I knew that I would like to be a Blue Angel. And the first year I applied, I made it to finalists, but didn't get selected. But the second year, I was fortunate enough to get selected.
The Blue Angels and the precision and how much you have to rely on one another at incredible speeds. I can't think of how you could trust any human being on earth more than that one on either side of you in those planes.
A lot of it has to do with the ability to receive feedback, to improve so that we can fly 12 to 18 inches away from each other, that trust and respect piece. But that trust and respect piece starts with owning your errors and mistakes. And if you do own them, then you are willing to learn and improve. But one thing, when you join the team, we have 2 pins, and they have to be specific pins, and they have to be in a specific position. You can never talk to anybody with your sunglasses on. There's a ton of standard operating procedure rules that seem mundane, and every time you break one, it costs you $5. But they don't really tell you what the rules are, so you're shelling out $70 a day to learn the rules. But you learn them, and at first you think, this is a bunch of crap, I just want to fly airplanes for the crowd. But you realize that it's really what they're doing is they're teaching you attention to detail. That attention to detail resonates all the way through the maintainers. And so what it drives is perfection.
And keeping those 5s in your pocket.
You can shell out a lot of money.
At the end of the day, you a better pilot?
Honestly, I've never been asked this question before, but I would say I definitely left a better person. It's very humbling. Right? You join the team and you think, I'm the greatest, I'm God's gift to aviation. And then you leave the team and you think, wow, I am just so fortunate to have had the opportunity to spend time with Make-A-Wish kids whose dying wish is to spend one day with you. And that is a life-changing perspective pivot.
About half the people listening to us right now are saying, get to Maverick, would you? So how does that happen?
So all the F-18 footage was flown by active duty Navy and Marine Corps pilots. But the final fight scene where Maverick and Rooster steal the Tomcat and fight their way back to the aircraft carrier, that was flown by Randy Howell and myself. How did it happen? So I fly for the Patriot jet team. This is a 6-ship demonstration team out on the West Coast. Civilian owned, the only one in North America. The owner of the team, Randy Howell, hooked up with Kevin LaRosa. They created Cinejet to put in a contract for Maverick. They won it. And so Randy, knowing my combat experience, said, hey, will you come train the actors and actresses in high performance flight? And so in December of 2018, we flew all the actors and actresses, we did dogfights, we pulled 8Gs, and it was a really great couple of days out of Camarillo Airport in California. Fast forward to June of 2019 when they needed to film the final scene, and Randy and I are the opposing solo pilots with the Patriots. So we have a tremendous amount of trust and respect for each other. And so he said, hey, we need a stunt pilot, would you do it? And I said, yeah, of course.
Tom fly his own stuff?
He wanted to fly and get his NATOPS qualification, but you and I know as fighter pilots, it's a challenging, multi-year type of event to get qualified.
Except the end part when he's up with...
In the P-51, that's correct. And he's a very accomplished pilot. And that was his P-51 that he was flying. And there's some funny stories about he and Jennifer Connelly and how they got approval to go fly together. And he is to Hollywood what Tom Brady is to the NFL or Michael Jordan is to the NBA. I mean, he elevates here, and you either meet him there or he'll find someone that will.
How much of his magic versus what's real?
It's all real. That's what makes the movie so phenomenal. We would see a storyboard in the morning, just a cartoon square of the shot that they wanted. We would walk through how we would get that shot, and once the director thought they had it, because it was data linked right to the director, then we moved to the next scene, and we knew what that was.
Talk about the transferable skill set that you had as Blue Angel, and some of those really incredible scenes that you had in the movie.
So the transferable skill sets is that low altitude dynamic maneuvering, but also rate and closure as a posing solo and lead solo pilot, right? The rate at which we fly towards each other and when we call the hits was very applicable. I mean, we were flying exceptionally low to the ground during the filming. Out over the canyons, when we were flying that final fight scene, we were 20, 30 feet off of the riverbed through that canyon. And I don't know that I have any special capability, but I am very highly trained with my background with the Blue Angels. There were scenes where we would fly up towards the helicopter where they could get the shot down the intakes of the jet engine, and then we would bunt under the helicopter.
You're dogfighting with a helicopter.
Right, and Kevin LaRosa would come up and say, yeah, go ahead and bring it closer. And Kevin's the pilot of the helicopter, and I'd say, okay, woof, woof, right underneath the helicopter. And you think, did we really just go under a helicopter in a canyon that was at 70 feet?
I've always wondered, how do you go from that to the United Training Center, right?
I get asked that, and this is for the folks that fly in commercial airplanes that are a little nervous. To me, the pressure with 180 people in the back, a 35-knot crosswind in the middle of a blizzard in Cleveland is as high as putting an airplane on the back of an aircraft carrier with live ordnance, right? I have live human beings. The precision and the skill and the commitment and the dedication and the adherence to standards is the same.
Well, next time maybe looking to see you fly your commercial airline underneath a helicopter.
Yeah. If your commercial airline pilot does that, you may want to tell somebody.
What advice do you have for aspiring aviators?
It's kind of life advice for anybody. What I came up with were these three things. If you get asked to do something, try something, experience something, say yes. There's so many incredible opportunities. And then when you need help, somebody will say yes back to you. And so don't limit yourself. And then the other one is owning your errors. I would rather have you tell me your mistakes, and then I know you're going to self-identify and self-correct. And then the third is just ask. I applied to NASA once, and all my friends said, they're never gonna select you. You were an accountant. I said, yeah, but NASA's never gonna call me. And so whether you are a young person, ask to pursue your dream and ask for the support. And for business people, oftentimes they'll say, oh, I don't want to ask my boss. They'll never say yes. They might ask.
Yeah.
Great advice, Scott.
Well, that'll do it, folks. We hope you enjoyed Scott's many great stories. Which one, by the way, was your favorite? I know mine. Let us know in the comments. And to hear this full interview, go check out episode 40 of the Behind the Wings podcast, wherever you listen. If you subscribe, thank you so much. And if you don't, just subscribe already. We'll see you next time, right here on Behind the Wings.